Hey, Facebook friends and YouTube. This video will be about the fool, which is this is a recurring theme in Proverbs. And I just opened my Bible because I was like trying to think of a topic for this video, and I it landed on Proverbs 18:6. This passage is kind of funny, I think. A fool's lips enter into contention or fights, and his mouth calls for blows, like hits. A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul. Yeah. So, don't be a fool, because then, people, you might end up getting hit. And so a fool's lips enter into contention. You don't want to be someone who likes to enter into fights a lot, or else that would make you a fool. All right, here's some more verses on the fool, or being a fool. Proverbs 18:2, a fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing his opinion. Yeah, I saw that a lot in school. I actually was always the quiet one in school. And, generally the people who had no problem talking, I thought didn't have a whole lot of understanding. And so that is very true. Fools really like to express their opinion. So we all need to be careful of that, We can't just assume that we're right and everybody else is wrong, and that if we do, then that would be a foolish thing to do. But we can say that the Bible is right, which is why I always put a lot of verses in these videos. Proverbs 29:11, a fool gives full vent to his spirit or his anger, but a wise man quietly holds it back. Yeah. So when you're angry, you need to stay quiet for a little bit and consider why you're angry. Is there some other reason, like you're tired or hungry? And then it's good to process, like, is this really something worth getting angry about? Sometimes it's good to take some time to think about it, take at least an hour to think about it if you should really be angry about that thing. But if you're a fool, then you will not take time to think about it, and you will just give full vent to your anger, which is not good. That will only lead in destruction. Proverbs 1:7, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Yeah. Proverbs 10:14, the wise lay up knowledge, but the mouth of a fool brings ruin near. Yep. So you don't want to be a fool, obviously. Ecclesiastes 7:9, be not quick in your spirit to become angry, for anger lodges in the bosom of fools. Yeah. And just emotions in general, Joyce Meyer talks a lot about not being overly emotional. Don't let your emotions control you, and for sure anger is the biggest one. She says anger is one letter away from danger, and that's very true. And if you want people to respect you, that's the number one thing, is you have to keep your anger under control and not get angry very much, not be easily offended, Proverbs 29:9, if a wise man has an argument with the fool only rages and laughs, and there is no quiet. It's funny. Psalm 14, the fool says in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They do abominable deeds, fools. There is none who does good. The Lord looks down from heaven on the children of man to see if there are any who understand, who seek after God. They have all turned aside. Together they have become corrupt. There is none who does good, not even one. They have no knowledge. All the evildoers who eat up my people as they eat bread and do not call upon the Lord. That's creepy. Eat up my people. It's like cannibalism. So, yeah, it all begins with being a fool, and then it gets into some crazy stuff. Proverbs 18:7, a fool's mouth is his ruin, and his lips are a snare to his soul. Yeah, you have to really be careful what you say. Like James says, life and death are in the power of the tongue. So if you want to kill things in your life, then go ahead, give full vent to your anger, and lie and talk about people and all kinds of stuff that foolish people do. But if you want to preserve your life and have a peaceful life, you have to be wise, obviously. Okay, Proverbs 14:7-9. Leave the presence of a fool, for there you do not meet words of knowledge. The wisdom of the prudent is to discern his way, but the folly of fools is deceiving. Fools mock at the guilt offering, but the upright enjoy acceptance. Guilt offering. I think that was like a sacrifice that they used to do. So fools don't think that they need to make any sacrifices for their sins because they're fools. Leave the presence of a fool, for there you do not meet words of knowledge. Yeah. It is unfortunate when there's people who really can't give you any good advice because they're lacking in wisdom. So make sure that you talk to wise people. There is a great verse, walk with the wise to become wise, and talk to the wise to become wise. So make sure you do that. And if you are very picky about who you will talk to or be around, you might feel lonely at times because there aren't a whole lot of wise people out there, but you just have to keep looking. Proverbs 15:7, the lips of the wise spread knowledge, not so with the hearts of fools. Proverbs 18:6, a fool's lips walk into a fight, and his mouth invites a beating. Oh, that's what I just read. Proverbs 26:3, a whip for the horse, a bridle for the donkey, and a rod for the back of fools. Answer not a fool according to his folly, lest you be like him yourself. Yeah. Titus 3:3, for we ourselves were once foolish, disobedient, led astray, slaves to various passions and pleasures, passing our days in malice and envy, hated by others and hating one another. So, Romans 1:22, the decline of a society. Claiming to be wise, they became fools. And they stopped worshiping God and worshipped creation instead of God. So, yeah. So you see a lot of this in our modern society. Pretty much anyone who really doesn't want to acknowledge God as God is a fool and would fit into that category. Because once you take God out of the picture, you take out the supreme authority, and then people don't feel like they have to answer to anybody. There's no accountability. They don't have a fear then of punishment, or they don't think about that there might be consequences for doing bad things. So then all kinds of foolishness happens then, like the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the lack of the fear of the Lord is the beginning of foolishness, which is what's wrong with our current world. And, I think it's because they took out all of the fire and brimstone type teaching in church, and now it's very, seeker friendly and positive and uplifting and encouraging, which can be good, but then people don't have the fear of the Lord, and then people aren't as wise as they could be. So we need to be careful of that in church. We shouldn't just tell people what they want to hear. We should tell them what they need to hear, which is that they need to fear God if they want to be wise. And, our society is just filled with fools right now, and it's very sad. So I'm going to pray about that. Dear God, I just pray for America, that our country will stop being a country of fools, because it really is. And I think that maybe other countries are laughing at us because of our degenerate lifestyle and how foolish so many people are, because they just are. I pray that people will fear you again, that they will respect you, and that will make them supremely wise, God. And I pray that people will really seek after wisdom, and that they will seek after you, and that they will stop being foolish, that they will stop thinking that foolishness is fun and funny and no big deal. I pray that people will see the seriousness of being a fool, and that they will stop wanting to be a fool, because it leads to death. In Jesus' name, amen. So, if you know anyone who seems a bit foolish, or they're on a foolish path or a foolish track, tell them to watch this and pray for them. May God bless you all. Have a great day. Bye.